I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yo, dudettes, what's going on with you? Ooh, this is strange. Like going back to your elementary school as an adult and wondering why all the ceilings are so low and why all the desks got hit with a shrink ray and why your teachers are no longer high. Nah, nothing. This week I was scouring some new releases and I came across something called The Golden Couple. And I locked eyes on my target and now we're gonna go hunting. I know nothing about this, so let's just dive on in. We pick up with a therapist, well, ex-therapist, MC Avery, who has had her license removed due to some sort of extreme counseling she's doing. Now, she's unlicensed, but popular enough that she still has a practice, just as a consultant instead of a therapist. I'm getting a Sherlock Holmes of the mind vibe from this, and that does spark interest. Anyway, book kicks off with husband Matthew and wife Marissa visiting because wifey decided to cheat on him and wanted to confront it somewhere he wouldn't blow up. Winning marriage so far, guys, let's keep it going. But Avery picks up her clients who are having marriage problems due to Marissa being a cheating. Sorry, I forgot it's current year. They're having marriage problems due to Marissa being a free and independent woman who doesn't let her husband think for her or whatever. And this consultant does some highly unusual methods of treatment, which involve basically everything you're not supposed to do as a therapist. Such as leaking secrets a client gives you about her immoral company during a session but can't bring herself to release to the public. Such as sneaking into a client's house and videotaping his abusive wife screaming at him so he can see what he's dealing with. Such as telling clients what they need to do in a very demanding and forceful style instead of guiding or helping to enlighten them. I go off on this, but it's nothing I actually count against the book, as Avery does suffer a lot of consequences due to those extremely rash actions. Aside from losing her license and being seen as a mix of extremist and crackpot, she's basically stalked/threatened by the pharmaceutical company that she outed to the public, and weirdly the book seems like it's gonna jump all aboard the extreme left side of things, and there are a couple of lines that lead towards that. Like, the book implies it might be Matthew's fault his wife cheated, but it also shows that cheating and living life as a single woman eventually leaves you feeling very unhappy, despite being successful in a career. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with the other side, only that the latter half of those moments in the book are far, far from the extreme lefty message. What I will bash the book over is the constant changing of tenses and persons. Usually, with Avery, the book is in third person past tense limited, best style. But when it's from wifey's perspective, it's first person present tense, and man, that is jarring. Each chapter is titled with the name of the person we're experiencing this from, so there's really no reason to force this change of tense and persons just to differentiate them. But Avery's style of consulting basically means that your life is open to her demands, such as meeting on her schedule, going on a date when she says so, and her secretly following them on that date, and all of this just has a very stalker serial killer vibe to it. Spoilers abound, so skip to my final thoughts if you are to avoid plot details. But as time moves on, we really delve into both women's drama. Avery struggles to keep her stepdaughter safe as the pharmaceutical company fucks with her life by letting the air out of her daughter's tires and lodging a suspicion that she euthanized her husband. Could've just lived in Canada, I guess. You get a fucking medal for it up there. Meanwhile, Marissa continues to be a independent woman who lies to her husband about sleeping with someone from their past. I think one of Matthew's best friends. I don't know why it matters who she slept with, except that you might be more mad at that individual betraying you. But I don't know why her sleeping with his best friend would be any worse than sleeping with some random individual. I don't know, maybe it's just my brain not seeing that sensibly, but to briefly summarize, I had an incident when a close friend of mine nearly had an affair with my girlfriend, and yes, I was angry with her and him, but I wasn't any more angry with her than I would have been if it was just some other guy, nor indeed when it was just some other guy. There's a lot of reasons and names that relationship didn't work out. But yeah, Matthew gets attacked by whoever Marissa let into her marital cave, and somehow her assistant Polly is all tied up and everything and is a little too interested in the bishop's life. And honestly, this is just a weird mix of mystery and drama, but I am here for it. However, like someone getting on a bike with a horrible case of diarrhea, nothing holds together until the end, and all that remains is an extremely stinky, wet pile of no that the creator ought to be very ashamed of. I won't go into exactly what happens because it gets into super spoiler territory, but, how do I put this? Okay, imagine your morning commute involves taking a bus. There's a blind man on that bus, and through an extremely contrived set of circumstances, the blind man just so happens to be your child from the future and is here to kill you for creating him. And that's emotionally and intellectually the level of what we're dealing with this ending twist. Actually, there's two, and the second one, and this one I will spoil because fuck you, it gets really weird. But remember how Avery was accused of euthanizing her husband and it was indicated to be false? Yeah, she actually did that. She just blackmails someone and gets them to drop those charges, but the charges were totally in fact legitimate. Now, what she does is arguably acceptable, I guess, depending on your own personal view, but instead of explaining why she did what she did or giving us an emotional and mental toll of those actions, it is instead saved for a really lame twist at the end, like it's actually what the book closes out on. If that was a bit insane for you, let me make a much more reasonable comparison. Are you aware of 12 Minutes? If not, I'm sure there's a Let's Play of it somewhere on YouTube. But the twist at the end of that game means that you're accidentally complicit in incest pregnancy, and the main twist at the end is on the level of that. Not nearly as disturbing, but just as dumb. Lots of things get half resolved, and the cheating wife bit is just, I mean, it has an ending, but not really. I think you're supposed to think that everyone involved at the end is somewhat in the right, but I kind of feel like everyone sucked. And now I feel like the book thinks I'm an asshole for thinking that. So congratulations, the golden couple. That is what you are. You are a chef who proudly declared his intention to make a 20-layer chocolate cake before you unearthed your lumpy creation, and only once I took an extra curious step towards it did I notice the chocolate was actually dog poo. And then upon voicing my complaints, you proudly threw up your hands and shouted, "I know! I subverted your expectations!" No, annoy me is what you did. Now go with Ryan Johnson into the shame corner where you belong. By the way, Ryan, how's that trilogy coming along, ya fuck? My personal score is 2 out of 10. It's interesting right up until it poos all over itself, and I'm sorry if you think that's unfair, but that final moment leaves a really, really bad impression in your head.
Is it harsh if it's the truth?
And there is just no possible way to move past that moment. Let's go ahead and take a look at that bingo card. I am actually surprised you managed to not hit bingo. I mean, you came close, but you actually managed not to hit it. That's slightly astounding given everything. Then again, I was invested up until like the last 3 chapters when you slapped me in the dick for being invested. Anyhow, that's all for this time, so if you have something else you want me to review, go ahead and leave a comment down below, let me know. If you want to see what we get into next time, go ahead and subscribe. Until then, drink plenty of water, tell your parents that you love them, and stroke your mustache at night.